Welcome back, everybody. We're jumping into the middle of round number 5. As I mentioned before, we were waiting to see if there was going to be a win-in matchup we could find, and then just due to the length of needing to figure out draws and drops and everything, we had to wait for Judge Brandon to figure out everybody's position before we actually got into the round. And before we knew it, Akira, game 1 was already done.
Yeah, and I believe Dom, a frequent of the stream, took game 1 on the Grixis Dredge against Francisco, who's back again with his Nightmare Roots deck.
Yeah, so Francisco, we thought because of winning last round, was going to just be able to draw into top 8. However, Dom Pluid's pathway to this current matchup was an unintentional draw in round 1 against a Yawgmoth deck. Because of that, he wound up going 2-0 afterwards, and then in the last round, lost to our rookie Storm player Joaquim, who we saw on camera in round number 2. So Joaquim has made it into top 8, despite having a little bit of a hiccup on stream earlier. He still recovered, was able to make it into top 8, and Pluid now has to play in order to win because of that draw. And Francisco wound up being the one paired against him. So now Francisco, who thought was able to just intentionally draw and have an easy afternoon, has to win, but is now down a game against Grixis Dredge.
Yeah, so this is a position that you don't want to be in, where you thought you had you just need to ID, you get paired down against a 2-1-1, and you have to win. And being down the first game is it's gonna be a comeback run for Francisco. I want to make it to top 8.
And this is what we were talking about too when it comes to tiebreaker math. So Francisco is going to be, if they lose this game, will be 3-2-0. There is one other match that is a win-in match that both players are currently 2-2-0.
So I believe there is 4 matches playing for 2 spots.
Yes.
So the competition is pretty intense.
So depending on Francisco's tiebreakers, because one of those matches is also Francisco's opponent from last round, the Orioles player Brian. So Francisco could, in theory, lose and make top 8.
Because of breaker,
Because of break, I don't know who Francisco played at the beginning of the day, but if that winds up working out, that would be wild to have both of these players actually get it. But we are seeing both players shuffling up from sideboards for game number 2. Now, the Grixis Dredge deck does have a lot of ways to protect its graveyard. We know that we have things like Silent Gravestone, potentially ley lines to prevent the targeting from Pluid's side, and we do know that Francisco is packing surgical extractions because we saw them in the previous round against the Orioles.
And I don't know if Pluid is also on the surgical extraction against another graveyard deck. We just have a lot of graveyard decks today.
A lot of graveyard. We have Oreos, we have Yawgmoth players in the room, we have these 2 decks that are on stream. There was another deck that unfortunately we didn't get a chance to see that was, I named it Sack Shenanigans because it had grave crawlers and stuff, but it wasn't doing the roots thing.
I think it was pretty similar to this deck. It's like I was walking around the room and I think I caught a little bit of that deck. It's also a Chthonian Nightmare, like great combo shell, but maybe not the Insidious Roots.
I know there's another Chthonian Nightmare deck that was playing last round. I'm not sure if they actually wound up getting in or not. But we are going to see a quick surveil land of Ox of Goodness into Pluid's graveyard, and then another Malevolent Rumble coming out for Francisco. Going to be looking at the top 4, seeing which one they want to keep and which ones are going into the graveyard.
So, I believe, I'm not sure what that purplish card is. Can't really tell. I think.
It's like an old Innistrad card, like Liliana's Indignation or something like that. I'm not entirely sure if that's what it's going to be, but Malevolent Rumble right here is just basically going to be mill 4 and create another.
I'm not sure what Francisco put into his hand from the
Rumble.
It might have been a land to maybe make sure he hits his 3rd land draw. So this is the Dredge Dream, where you cast Cathartic Union, discard 2 Dredge cards, and get to dredge them back.
Here we go. So we have Dark Blast, we Stinkweed Imp. We got a lot of stuff coming into Fluid's graveyard here. We're gonna wind up finding some prized amalgams, silver smoke ghouls, and
from the second dredge, we find a third dredge card. So let's see if anything trigger in the graveyard here.
So I did wind up.
Like it.
I don't think there's any Narcomoebas. I did see a prized amalgam. I think there was, like you said, an additional dredge card coming in. So there's potentially another way to dredge next turn. But Fluid's just gonna pass the turn back to Francisco. Plays that land he found off of the Malevolent Rumble, and looks like maybe are we gonna finally see the Insidious Roots part of this deck? We didn't see that at all last round.
Yeah. I don't know. So this has 4 colors. Here's another Rumble.
Alright, we're getting rumbly again. So we're gonna find another Eldrazi spawn. Alright, there's the Insidious Roots. We could put that into our hand and cast it, and we got a Gravecaller in the graveyard, so we find one more zombie, and that's gonna be coming into play if we go fancy.
So take the Insidious Roots. Are we gonna get to see it cast?
Looks like yeah, unless Dredge is playing Force of Negation randomly, I think that's gonna wind up happening here. I mean, it makes sense. We have the Insidious Roots, and unless we have like a Boring Superior in hand, that would probably be the play here.
Yeah, and the thing is, Insidious Roots can just generate blocker against this Dredge deck, where their Dredge main win condition is you just dump a bunch of creatures into play and attack, and Insidious Roots is very good at generating chump blockers.
Yeah, now we do see that there were double Dark Blast and Stinkwing Imp Dredge off of Fluid's Cathartic Reunion. So that's going to mean that there are ways that Fluid can kill the blockers. We do see, looks like a Golgari Thug in graveyard as well. So Fluid has a Dredge 4 that's just sitting there that can be dredged up next turn. But we really need to find some Narcomoebas. We need to find Creeping Chill to trigger that Silver Scroll that's in the graveyard currently. And then, of course, that would also bring back the prized amalgam to try to go wide around any number of these plants being made.
Yeah, so Francisco fetch for a swamp, and we probably see that as soon No.
Oh, alright, that's another good card here because that starts part of the combo now. So we have the Marionette Apprentice, we have a Gravecaller in graveyard, we have a Warren Soultrader in hand.
We do have a Gravecaller in the graveyard. So Dredge found a Narcomoeba.
Alright, so we got one card. Now we can get some prized amalgams back.
There's 2 prized amalgams in the graveyard. They're going to be coming back at the end step. Let's see if there any way to discard those Dredge cards and dress them again. See if we can get some Creeping Chill to get the Silver Smoke Blue back as well. Because this is the thing about Dredge is it is a combo deck, but it doesn't win the game with the combo.
Just kind of puts a board on there.
Yeah.
You still got to win through combat damage, which we saw Francisco's like doing as well. Francisco, I thought, had mentioned that last turn, so it should be a team. We're seeing the players have them at 20. I'll double check those life totals in just a second to keep us at 19 more pounds. But Fluid does have an Oxygonus in graveyard as well. But a Cathartic Reunion here as well. We know that there's at least 2, if not 3, Dredge cards in hand, so we're going to start spinning the wheel again and see if Fluid can just kind of lock the rest of their deck on the battlefield.
So here comes Dredge 5 and then Dredge 4.
Yep, so Dredge 5 first from Stinkweed Imp finds Creeping Chill.
Creeping Chill.
So we do have a Silver Smoke Pool now coming back.
Yep, and there's another Stinkweed Imp for the 3rd draw trigger, so we're going to be dredging 14 by the looks of it.
And get at the players correcting with the fetch land and the 3 life from there. So we have that. Extra ping coming in from the sideboard as well. And finding double Golgari Thugs. One of those probably just going back into hand. And 1 remaining dredge effect here. Oh, that's double Creeping Chill Oxygonus.
That is a good... Those are some good cards to dredge.
Alright.
So now Francisco down to 10.
We have those 2 prize amalgams and 1 silver spoon coming back, which is representative of exactly 10 damage. Most importantly, these creeping chills are putting Fluid out of combo range.
Yeah, so now, I was about to say, like, Cruz is now out of combo range, so Francisco have to do some maneuver. And a follow-up lightning axe on the Marionette Master to stop the combo angle from Francisco here.
And also, it's not going to lose any life because Marionette Apprentice is other creature.
Yep.
So here we go. A whole slew of zombies are now coming back from Fluid's graveyard. Oh, there was a third silver smoke pool.
I think there's another prize amalgam as well.
Yeah, there's 2 prize amalgams, 3 silver smoke pools, and a dark amoeba. And if my quick math says anything, that's 16 damage on board currently.
Francisco does have 2 blockers and can probably generate more.
But there's 10 damage against him unless he just starts playing blockers right now. I mean, a Bloodghast in hand, that's not a blocker. Second Marionette Apprentice would be great because that creates 2 bodies. And we know there's Insidious Roots in hand.
So that can generate some blocker with the Gravecrawler in the graveyard. But you still need to, you still need to produce a zombie. Francisco's in a rough spot here.
Is that a fetch land as well? Does he have to actually crack that in order to play something?
I don't believe that's a fetch land. I believe that is... I can't.
Oh, it might be the shock land, or not shock land. Not entirely sure. It might just be another copy of Land Waste or something. All these different lands, because he didn't take damage from shocking into play, so I'm assuming it's not any sort of.
So here's the.
Warren Soultrader.
Yeah, Warren Soultrader. So he had the combo. So unearth. Okay, he still had the combo here. Unearth the Warren Soultrader. So now the combo is online, but Fluid is out of range.
And most importantly, Marionette Apprentice doesn't actually gain life. It's not a drain effect. It's just they lose life.
So casting the first Gravecrawler.
So this puts the Gravecrawler on the battlefield, getting rid of. Now you sacrifice it, you make a treasure. This is the loop that we kind of saw from Francisco's deck previously. What this is going to do is lose 1 life, and every single loop of this is going to be 2 damage, very similar to like a cat limit type of effect. Then we actually have 1-2 additional artifacts on the battlefield you can wind up sacrificing. So we're representing right now, every time you have to pay a life to do this. So Francisco's done this twice now. So Francisco should be at 8, Fluid should be at 22. You can only do this 7 more times. It'll be 14 damage, right?
Oh, a secondary Marionette Master. So now that changes the math. So now that's 4 damage for every Gravecrawler.
So that should be enough.
So 7 for... I think that's enough.
Yeah, 4 times 7, that's 21. Fluid is at 20. So that's just barely enough to squeak it out.
Just squeak it out for... Get another treasure. Take 2, get a treasure.
Still gotta go through the loop here just in case Francisco potentially messes something up.
So just making sure the math is mathing.
Take 2.
Alright. 4 damage.
2nd treasure, you take 2. Make
2nd treasure. 2 more damage.
Pay alive, 2nd Gravecrawler.
Second Gravecrawler. Go to 10.
So if Francisco's at 4 here, we're going to get at least 3 more Gravecrawlers and 3 more treasure.
So
you can just sacrifice the treasure after
yeah.
that, and you don't have to do anything with the map.
So you just need 1 more Gravecrawler trigger for 4. No, you need 2 more. So.
Hey, let me. You take 2.
Now die, make another treasure. That is
2nd treasure, you take 2.
as long as Francisco sees the line of being able to just sacrifice the treasure and not having to sacrifice the treasure.
No, that's it. Yeah, he got it.
All right, so that is going to be Francisco. Despite the ridiculous dredges that Fluid was able to put up, Francisco finds the line with double Marionette Apprentice and forces a decisive game 3.
Yeah. What a line for Francisco.
I'm so traumatized
I
by
don't think he
Yamaha
got
that
there
I
without
think
the
it was
second
me.
Marionette
I was
Princess.
supposed to hold the axe.
I'm not sure
really
did that
good.
play any Blood Artist effect,
Because
but
I like.
I don't think so. I think
I
it's just
axed the marionette
nightmares,
thinking
the unearths, the
that
marionette
for some reason you'd be able to do
and
something
even
without
then,
moving.
with a blood artist effect, that means that Francisco will start getting
Well, I consider
life
myself
to
lucky then.
creature sacrifices.
Yeah.
So you basically turn your Orin Soultrader into a Viscerasi and
that just turned Great Ballers like to even life total.
so then you don't have to worry about what your life total is in that circumstance. So I'm sure there might be one, like we did mention, if they're playing any sort of quarter calling effects in their deck, that would be a target for that. So not only do you have the combo, but then it becomes an infinite combo instead of just a how much life I have times 2.
What?
Yeah, I just needed the
That,
lightning
that was a great turnaround, and exactly what Francisco needs to really, because he needs to win. Francisco can still make it,
I've seen a variation.
but that is risky. He needs to win.
It's like a thinner yellow.
Yeah, this is basically a win
Yeah, I mean,
in
it's- I think a lot of
players with
players-
Francisco having a little bit of upside,
It's like Yawgmoth.
depending on
It's
how
like
his
worse
previous
Yawgmoth, but
round
with-
opponent through this
without
round could potentially
as
wind
many
up
ways
being
to mess
the
up.
best breaker X and 2 that sneaks up over his opponents that had to also play winning
I feel
in.
like it's
So
really easy to mess
fate
up on your own.
entirely in Fluid's hands. Francisco has a little bit of help from the fortune tellers, but still looking really bad if they wind up losing this one because it hinges on a lot of kind of outside factors. These are all win-it-in type scenarios. This is going to be now Fluid on the play against Francisco. So it looked like in game number 1, which we did not have on camera, Fluid was on the play, won that. Now Francisco on the play in game number 2 wins that one. So when you're going for these kind of combo-centric graveyard shenanigans decks, it kind of seems like who goes first matters.
Yeah, so since you're not looking to, neither player are looking to interact besides some targeted graveyard, play draw might be very important here. And we see that Fluid was just one turn away from winning.
If
so,
you just untap there,
yeah,
you win.
Right there with
so the going first might be very important.
Both players on a mulligan to 6 means that, well, they're going to be evened up, so the draw may be getting that extra look at the 7th card, but it won't necessarily be as fast. And I think that's really important. You pointed out there that if Fluid untap, let's not take away from the fact that Fluid's dredging turn was ridiculous.
Yeah,
that was massive.
crazy. I think that was like 3 creeping chill.
It was 3. If there was a 4th creeping chill as well, Francisco I don't think wins there because they were at with the double marionette master.
Yeah,
they were at
they had
7.
exactly 1 life left.
Yeah, so a creeping chill number 4 puts Fluid over the top of that combo, even with that ridiculous turn.
Yeah. These games are close.
These are more interactive and wild and games of inches than I thought 2 graveyard combos. That's how it is. This is modern as Richard Garfield intended.
Yeah, we're playing something else. There's no longer Magic the Gathering.
So
But
both
yeah.
players are on a mulligan to 6, so we'll have to see here. Fluid really contemplating if they want to keep their 6 or if they want to try to go down to 5. And looks like I'm
did
going
go
down to
to
5. All right, so as the Dredge deck, this puts you in a very interesting position too, because normally you want to have as many cards as possible to start putting things in your graveyard.
That is true, but we also know that Dredge can mulligan fairly well. Usually 2 lands, plus a discard effect like a Authority Reunion, plus a couple of Dredge cards could get you there. So,
Playing 5
Fluid
games of Magic.
probably need to look for those kind of things.
Yeah, so Fluid probably looking for like land, cathartic reunion, or like dark blast, like something that you can wind up dredging through, or maybe using as like a tool spell, like a grave crawl or a Stitcher supplier. I'm sure you can want to just go dredge in the graveyard. All right, let's see what Fluid's 5 is going to be. We were talking about tiebreaker math just a little while ago. Now, Francisco being forced to play this round, since everybody who had 3 wins in the previous rounds has been intentionally drawing to hit top 8. Francisco winning this round,
He can foresee.
he gets first seed because he'll be at 12 points.
Yeah, so 4-1, guaranteed for a seed, guaranteed to be on the play every single game.
Which, as we just talked about, is pretty important. Isn't
Pretty
it?
big advantage.
Oh, Fluid, game 3. Fluid is mulliganing down to 4.
Yeah, this is this is not good for the hometown hero.
Yeah, hometown hero because Fluid has been on our stream in Pioneer multiple times, been on stream in Modern multiple times. So card art is Fluid's home store. Francisco, we were talking to him a little bit earlier. He came out to visit. Got here at before 9, like when we're supposed to start.
Yep.
Unfortunately, had to delay until 10 just because the store was a little late in opening. But he was able to grab some breakfast, got us a couple of donuts, and stuff like donuts across the street. You know, there's a Safeway nearby, so like come down to card art, you'll be well fed in between your rounds if you really want to.
Yep.
But coming in from just a couple towns over, so making the journey out here to play in this modern RCQ. I know a lot of people have also gone down to MXP in LA for this weekend, so really jazzed that we still have this many people playing at our RCQ here.
That's for sure. I was expecting a pretty much like lower turnout, but having 23 players is very impressive.
And we said that Fluid normally goes to the store, but in chat, Francisco got his family for him. So, I mean, if I watch, if you learned anything from Fast and the Furious, it's all about family.
It's all about it.
So that means Francisco actually has home field advantage going into this one. But Fluid on 4. All right. Creeping Chill probably goes back in the library. We have Dark Blast and some number of lands. So is this going to literally be Dark Blast, land, discard, draw effect? That would be the best store I can think of.
Oh, we have one of the best mobile stores in the area here.
Oh, Sunray right next door.
Sunrise Studio.
People talking about all the plaza and everything. Unfortunately, Sunray.
Yeah, it's
12-11. All right, game is underway. Fluid on the play, just shocks in a Blood Crypt, probably holding up that Dark Blast then, seeing if Francisco's going to play turn 1 zombie or something. Do have Blooming Marsh into Gravecrawler, so this will put the Dredge card in graveyard.
So here's the Dredge card in the graveyard. Let's see if Fluid opt to draw or gonna opt to dredge. So gonna opt to dredge.
This is a Dredge 3, so ooh, Narcomoeba, Dark Blast, but the Dredge is all over the place now.
We gotta keep dredging.
We gotta surveil it. Praise the Malcolm! What a top!
What a start for a mulligan to 4. So that is 4 power on the board. Wait, this
to do anything?
Prize the Malcolm did not see it. So this is going to be Prize the Malcolm set up if you wind up dredging out another Narcomoeba, if you're able to escape an Oxvagonus, if that winds up hitting the graveyard, because we can double dread event now. We've seen all the cards in graveyard to do so. This is already set up for Fluid to potentially have a decent pop-off for what their deck is trying to do on 4 cards, but Francisco untaps, plays Insidious Roots, so now we have the Roots engine
this is a
online.
shield down kind of turn here. Another Narcomoeba from Fluid. So that is the price of Amalgam coming back next turn.
That would be the end of this turn. Prize the Malcolm comes back. We have Dark Blast in hand, so we can start potentially chipping down like this Gravecrawler that will eventually like come back and everything. These 2 land tokens that get made, they're all going to be eaten up by Dark Blast.
Yeah, and we can keep getting the Dark Blast back with these dredges.
Oh yeah, we have optimal amount of Dark Blast. The only thing that's limiting us currently on the Fluid side
It's the black mana.
The black mana. There's only 1 black mana available. We do see what was that? I think it's just a land that's surveilled from Francisco's side.
So fetch for a surveil land, kept the card on top, pass it back to board.
Now this is from Francisco. This is like your, not Chthonian, but your actual nightmare scenario. Your opponent mulligans to 4. If you win this, you're first place. If you lose this, you're hoping for tie breaks. But your opponent has legitimately just high-rolled themselves into one of the best starts on a mulligan to 4 possible. What are you looking for as you untap and your opponent just passes?
I think you're just looking. So I think I see that card keeps escaping me. The Goblin card.
Oh, the Warren Soultrader.
Yeah, the Warren Soultrader. So Warren Soultrader plus Gravecrawler here. Gonna get Francisco a plant token and a Gravecrawler as blockers, and Warren Soultrader will be able to block and trade with his Price of Amalgam. So it saves Francisco some life, but I'm not entirely sure if I think Dredge would buy Francisco enough time.
Oh, so can Francisco now just make 11 plants.
Yes. So now Francisco can pretty much trade his life total for plant token, and these plant tokens are huge.
They're going to be huge because every single plant that comes into play gets a +1/+1 counter from every loop.
Results. It's not my priority again. So then I get the
And it looks like Francisco is explaining the loop here. Now that he has priority, he has the ability to sacrifice this again. Now Fluid, 2 Dark Blasts, 3 Dark Blasts in hand, 1 block.
Yeah, so
if you had 3 block mana, you could deal with this Warren Soultrader.
yeah, so this loop is very interaction proof because there's no point in the game where the Gravecrawler is on the battlefield, but your opponent has priority. Yeah. Because Gravecrawler is not coming back from a trigger, it's coming back by casting it. So when the Gravecrawler resolves, you gain priority back.
Yeah, and the biggest part too is on the Warren Soultrader, it's the position of that colon in the actual text. It's pay 1 life, comma, sacrifice another creature, colon, and Plua just saying, I can't beat that. That's going to be an army of plant tokens that wind up taking game number 3. Francisco goes for the go wide beatdown token angle and will be our top seed in top 8.